you can.
Yes. So yeah. So now we're recording, and I just want to welcome everyone that could join us today. My name is Ana Paula Picasso, and for people that don't know me, I'm a board member and also the community manager of SBA, the Swedish Blockchain Association. Today is our second webinar. We had one last month, and this one would be about blockchain, digital assets, and the future of gaming industry. So we have two special speakers today with us. First one is Evan Vandenberg from Wax.io. Hello. And the second one is going to be Bonz Cannon from Prospectors. Also, what else can I say? Yes, the format is going to be very simple. Each speaker is going to have 15-20 minutes to the presentation. After each session, you guys can ask questions, but please don't speak. Just write on the comments, on the chat box on the right side above, and I will read them out to everyone. And also, we have something really nice at the end. We have a prize draw. We're gonna, give away four cards. They are, let me see the names again. Yeah, the GPK cards, Garbage Pay Your Kids. So if you guys interested in joining the prize draw, just let me know in the chat box. And I'm going to introduce Sukesh Tedler. He's also part of the Swedish Blockchain Association, and he's going to talk a little bit about what we do, our mission, and introduce the first speaker. Sukesh, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Anna, for introducing me. And I'm really glad to be here today and share what we do and why we do. So about Swedish Blockchain Association, for whom you don't know, it's a non-profit organization. We have been active for almost 2 years now. During the last 2 years, we have organized numerous events in Sweden, across Sweden, and we cooperated with different events in the Nordic region as well. And since the beginning of this year, we have started these tech talks, and it's been growing great. And during the last 2 months, we started doing the webinars now. And in more relation to our activities, we at Swedish Blockchain Association do educational events, invite speakers from various blockchains and applications. But we also help out enterprises like Volvo Group or the local enterprises here in Sweden to connect with resources and so forth. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce Evan Vandenberg from Wax Blockchain. Wax Blockchain is an all-in-one blockchain platform enabling developers to easily create, sell, and trade digital goods, to empower business, and to profit from the era of digital commerce. Welcome, Wax team, and Evan Vandenberg here.
Thank you, Sukesh and Anna, for putting this together. Yeah, let me pull up my screen here. So just for everybody on the chat, I think how we're going to run this is I'm going to go through, just give you guys a bit of an update. I know there's kind of a mixed bag in terms of knowledge of blockchain, knowledge of Wax. So I'll go through a bit of all of it. I'll go a bit through kind of why our platform's interesting to me and others. And then I'll actually go into some examples and kind of, what's next. And, I know that's a bit more exciting for some of the people who are day-to-day very, very, active in our communities. So without further ado, let me present. All right, let me know when you guys can see this. Are we good?
Yes, we can see it now.
Awesome. So Sukesh gave you guys a bit of a brief explanation of kind of what Wax is. And I mean, to really dumb it down, Wax is kind of a next generation blockchain. And when I say that, I mean kind of a step forward from this concept of Ethereum and some of the other options out there. I think EOS.io, the technology we run on, it was founded initially for EOS, which many of you are familiar with, top 10 coin in the world. But the underlying tech is something called EOS.io that's built on a delegated proof of stake protocol. The distinct advantages there are we need high throughput, so we need free transactions, fast transactions, and much faster block times. And so that's one of the reasons we chose that technology stack to build off. For those who don't know a lot about our team, kind of the impetus for Wax is we spent years running the world's largest peer-to-peer digital item trading platform, Opskins. So that actually was, a massive, massive business where billions of dollars were spent buying, selling, trading digital items, in-game items, specifically, CSGO, Dota 2, PUBG. So really skins trading platform. And it was a massive business, but there's really fundamental flaws in that system where there was central control, most notably from Steam and other kind of, we'll call them distribution channels of games and game items. So we went off and we built what we thought was the perfect kind of solution. Perfect's a strong word, we're getting there. But the best solution we could think of for creating a decentralized platform for people to really own and trade their digital items. This extends from gaming and entertainment to all sorts of different IP, digital rights management, we're even starting to see some stuff with. And it's also not held strictly to the digital world. I mean, we're looking at doing different things with physical items as well. We had kind of a crossover of your kind of digital representation of a physical item and be able to trade, buy, sell, all those things, and then actually click ship and get it to your doorstep. So anyways, that's just a tiny bit about Wax here. Now, why Wax is interesting for your general blockchain developer? I think first and foremost, and by far our biggest differentiation at this point, has been the best onboarding in the ecosystem, in my opinion. So with Wax Cloud Wallet, which I'm going to show you kind of the new rev in the next slide, you can sign in with your social logins, right? So you don't have to do, it's really similar to like any app you use on your phone. If you want to log in with Gmail, you can log in with Gmail, and now you have an account. We've got a pretty nice sophisticated system of doing private key management for those who don't want to manage their own private keys, which happens to be like 98% of the people we see. So what that allows for is gamers can immediately come to your DApp, they can jump on the platform, they can play games like Prospectors, which you'll hear more about later, without having any concept of crypto, right? And I think, to the crypto purists, that doesn't sound, crazy, but when we're looking at a planet that's 8 billion people, there's a very small fraction of those people who are willing to, or even able to, right? I mean, from a banking standpoint, to go to an exchange, buy crypto, and then come in and use a game, right? And more importantly, there's a massive hurdle and barrier to entry with getting people onto any app. And if you add having crypto and paying fees to transfer items like you do on Ethereum, all of a sudden that just doesn't really work for, we'll call it 99.9% of this planet. In terms of the network speeds, reliability, and cost, it's extremely low cost. I mean, at this point, you can hear more from Bonz, but it's a very, very, very low cost system. We've got incredible uptimes. The network speeds, we produce a block every half a second, as opposed to however long it's taking now on Ethereum. But the general concept here is that it's low cost and reliable. I'm not going to jump into our governance for this call. I think it's important. But basically, if you're really familiar with EOS and some of the other DPoS chains, governance is a huge issue. And we've really spent a lot of time and effort putting together a system to really reward the best block producers in a fashion that we think is relatively, objective as much as it can be. And this is really to kind of keep push people and have them compete for being, the most, making those contributions to the chain and doing the job the best way they can. So the next piece here is Wax Labs. This is really our, it's almost like a venture fund with we take no equity. It's really a grant fund. So it's, I think at this point in time, it's close to $6 million that we have in developer grants, which we're deploying, left and right now to get new projects on the platform and to spin up new ideas and experiment. So there's, an avenue there for developers to explore if they've got a great idea and they just need a little bit of funding to get over the hump to give it a try. Like, we're here for that. So I can go into that a bit more later if you have Q&A. Our developer portal is really, really robust. Quick starts, tutorials, code samples. You don't have to know everything about our platform to get started. And, this last one's kind of near and dear to me, is that we have a full team that's dedicated to helping you succeed. That may seem kind of obvious, but in the blockchain space, it's oftentimes not the case. Really, with most of these blockchains, you can't call anyone, right? Like, who are you going to call at Ethereum if you want something changed? So that is kind of a seemingly obvious, but actually unique value proposition for a lot of the people trying to build on Wax. All right, so I know I had said we're going to show you the wallet. So just to give you kind of a little bit of insight on our wallets and the kind of upgraded Wax Cloud wallet, we've created a very, very simple login system using social, email, password, whatever you choose. You have one-stop shop for managing your tokens, your NFTs. There's a dApp store. You can see, different featured dApps. You can enter to win competitions. So we really want to make this an engaging and simple to use, experience here with the wallet. And I know I'm limited on time, so I'm not going to give you too long of a demo here. But yeah, you'll be able to send crypto in a really cool way. Shout out to Dallas Rushing for creating this. The guy's the GOAT of design. So what that means, right, in terms of where that wallet takes us, and our wallet's already in a good place. That just takes it to another level. But as we look at, so this chart again is excluding Ethereum, Tron, and EOS. But we're really starting to see ourselves separate from the pack, and that is in terms of daily active wallets. dApps are kind of coming over from all chains, really not just EOS anymore, but we're seeing just a big influx, at least in my inbox, of people either interested or committed to moving over to Wax for a lot of the reasons that we've already kind of stated above. And one of the other key things is that we're here to market and do things with you to keep, users coming to your platform and cross-pollinating across our dApps so that people can benefit, our developers can benefit from the existing ecosystem. So long story short here is, if you make onboarding simple, you improve that user experience, and you combine that with some marketing, you can really, really separate yourself from the pack. And I think we're on, an incredible upward trend right now, especially with some of the new partners that are coming on board. One thing, this is for more of the Wax, the Wax fandom. So we launched the Wax Advisory Council last week, announcing with product counsel from Google. And so for people who don't understand what this is or have questions about it, I did want to take a sec and kind of give people an understanding of why this is important, what we're trying to do here, and kind of where we're going next with it. So the Wax Advisory Council is going to be a mix of different players. So we're working with a lot of the top 100, certainly top 500 companies in the world that fit our niche for different means, whether it's technology, it's IP, it's gaming, it's entertainment. We want to get the best people from the best companies to sit down and help us derive our product roadmap, right? I think people who try to do these things in isolation and in their own echo chambers, they're missing so much. And I mean, even doing our deal with Tops, right, we had to come up with a bunch of new legal infrastructure and language and terms and whatnot, right, that work for major IP holders. And so what we're trying to do is really accelerate that process by getting, and it's going to be a mixture, right? Like we launched the product council from Google yesterday, and that's really to provide the insight from Google and having somebody internally that can help us navigate those avenues and see where we can get certain things available and done so that we can actually do something meaningful together. And other partners we've already signed long-term IP deals with awesome, new partners. So there's a mixture of both coming in this council. But we want them all to be together, and we want them to, we want to come to sort of a, no pun intended, but consensus on where we need to go and what do we need to do to get, the best games, the best entertainment, the best IP on this platform. And this is really a step in that direction. And so I think, you're going to see a lot more council members come on in the next, we'll call it 10 weeks. Certainly there will be at least 10, if not more, council members by then. You know, we'll have some announcements probably this week and a few next week. So, you know, keep your eyes peeled there. But I think it's important for people to understand why this is such a big step. You know, I know we announced this last week and everyone's like, oh, this is a nothing burger, you know, and it's like, well, is it really not? Is it really nothing? Like, this is a huge deal to have somebody from these companies who's willing to fight on your behalf to actually join your council and to have the logos and to do these things. So I happen to think this is really one of the keys to our success going forward. All right, and then, you know, one of the last ones I'll leave you here with before I jump into some case studies is, you know, what's coming next? I know the Wax fans all want to know this sort of stuff. And I think the biggest thing right now is we're really starting to see the fruits of our labor on large partnerships and big brand IP deals. That is probably the key, you know, the key takeaway for the next few months is going live and announcing a lot of different deals that we've structured over, you know, the course of at least a year, in many cases longer. You know, then on top of that, we're kind of packaging in a ton of new dApps, existing and net new, games and other crypto specific partnerships. So that can be marketplaces, exchanges, etc. A lot of those are coming as well. And of course, we talked about the Wax Advisory Council and the wallet a bit, so I won't dive into those too much. You know, there's definitely a focus on getting improved access to Wax tokens. I think right now, you know, ideally, I'd like it to be a lot more simple for somebody who's interested in buying Wax to use it on the platform, to buy NFTs, to do whatever, has a much easier way of getting that, right? And so the groundwork's being laid there, and I'm hoping that comes to fruition pretty quickly here. You know, whether that's through exchanges and different mediums, it's certainly something that's top of mind for us. You know, another piece down here is we're exploring a lot of different tokenomic improvements. I think you can expect to see some of that coming out shortly as well. You know, for the token holders and for the guys who've been following this project for a while, I think this is a very good piece of news. I just, you know, I think our founder and CEO is really an incredible economic mind. You know, from venture capital and all the way down to, you know, being in think tanks and whatnot with different organizations. He's got a ton of experience in this stuff, and so I think we're making some interesting strides there. And last but not least, there are more GPK series coming, guys. I don't have a hard date set for the next launch, but it is coming imminently. So I will certainly get that news out when it's applicable. So just a quick case study of, you know, one of the first real IP partners to do anything in the blockchain space, anything meaningful where it's a fully integrated dApp, is we partnered with Topps, and our first launch was with a product called Garbage Pail Kids. It was a big cult classic, 80s and 90s, and we've kind of relaunched it, this collectible series, and it's been a wild success. For, you know, exceeded certainly my expectations, and I think everyone's in many respects, and I think it's been a huge step forward for the industry to get somebody like this and to see this real success. So for those that don't know, the Topps company is just a massive collectible and trading card company, especially in the US, but worldwide really. They've been around since 1938. They've got IP, you know, they're obviously well known for baseball cards, for anyone familiar with their platform, but they also have Star Wars, Marvel, WWE, several other major sports leagues, soccer, and you know, not to mention, of course, GPK. Sorry for the background noise here, guys. Something construction is going on. But so our first Topps launch on Wax with Garbage Pail Kids, everything sold out in just over 24 hours. Somebody will correct me on the number of hours. I think it was 27, 28 hours. So it's 12,000 packs, generated 100K of revenue in one day. You know, and more importantly, that revenue keeps on giving through author fees to the IP holder. So they're actually probably going to make more money on the secondary market than they did on the primary market, which is a really interesting, you know, thought experiment, and really a great thing for any business to hear. The cards themselves have been just so cool. They're selling for crazy valuations on top of, you know, what they were actually printed at. And again, I'm sorry for this noise. I don't know what the heck's going on. Let me try something real quick.
It's okay, Evan. We don't hear much. Just it's not.
Okay.
It's not coming through so as loud as you think.
All right. Well,
just carry on. That's fine.
All right, will do. So yeah, so the last little bit here is, we're getting a lot of different, being in LA, we've been getting a lot of interesting partnerships from just an individual celebrity standpoint. I mean, Shatner's been tweeting us out. I think there's a lot more to come from him. And several others have reached out and have been very interested in doing something in the collectible, kind of crypto collectible space. So that was the general concept of what we did with Topps. For those who haven't seen, these are the kind of different rarities and what the cards actually look and feel like. And I think the big takeaway for those who aren't familiar with this is, a lot of people are like, oh, why would I want a PNG, and why would I collect digital cards? And what I would challenge you to think about is, outside of being able to hold a piece of cardboard, like what can you not do on blockchain that you can do in physical cards? And when you dig into that, I think you're going to find that like they're basically there's almost nothing other than the tangible feeling of that cardboard. So what we did here is we really took the essence of GPK. We added some really unique digital only features, the prisms, the sketch cards, these animations on top of them, and we broke down the rarities accordingly. I think they have an incredible kind of like look and feel to them. They feel tangible. I think the artwork's excellent. They did a great job of capturing the original cards themselves, and people have really loved them. They found different ways of what things are valued at what, for what reasons, right? I mean, we're seeing even like first prints are more valuable than the 100th card printed of a certain SKU. So, just want to have this slide here for those that aren't familiar to give you a sense of like why this is interesting and what that really does look like in reality. So, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I know it's in this ballpark depending on where you price the coin at. But yeah, the secondary market has been booming. So to put this in perspective, we had talked earlier, we did $100,000 within roughly 24 hours on the primary market, which is actually like credit card sale on the platform, you buy it. And then all of this trading has happened in the secondary market on different crypto exchanges like GPK.market, Simple Market, Collectibles.io. I can send a link to anyone who's interested, but we've done about $1 million worth of trading since that launch. So that's 10x the actual value of the primary market in terms of volume of trading on the secondary market. So if you can take yourself and put yourself in the seat of an IP holder who gets perpetual income on this, it's a really unique sale. I think it's been incredibly fun and enjoyable for a lot of people in the wax community. Certainly been the biggest kind of NFT hit we've ever seen on the platform, and really since probably CryptoKitties, to see this kind of volume. Last thing, we'll highlight this. A lot of it's been kind of touched on. So, we did 110,000 cards. Price points for packs, $5 and $25. The $25 price point sold out like 7 hours, something very, very ridiculous. It was great to see. Nearly, this one's near and dear to my heart, is nearly half these collectors were new to blockchain based on some polling and some different, sample sizes we took. Certainly many of them were new to wax, so that's a great sign for us. We also, worked with Stripe to power this process, and that, for a lot of people, it seems like an obvious fit. However, they've been extremely hesitant to do anything in the blockchain space, and coming to the table with meaningful IP and a really, solid legal framework and plan for doing these sales, allowed us to do Stripe, and that was just a huge benefit, for all sorts of reasons. But really, it's just by far the best payment system I've seen in the space. So that was wonderful to see, and really very little marketing done around this. I mean, it wasn't something that we did a ton of paid marketing whatsoever around. I did a few shows and did a few things like that. We gave away some cards, but in general, it's been very organic in terms of its growth. And, some highlights here on the secondary market, we saw a single card sell for around $4,000, which was really cool to see. Something around 40 or probably more at this point, purchases of over $1,000 for individual cards. And, the premiums on unopened packs have just been through the roof. So for anyone familiar with it, if you bought a pack for $5, you could easily go and sell that unopened pack for $80 to $100, certainly at certain points during the last few weeks. And the last point here, which I think is the wildest thing, and really it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, is there's so many eBay listings for these sets, these individual cards, these packs, the whole bit, which, you know, given the nature of this being a blockchain native product, is kind of like funny, but at the same time interesting, that people kind of fall back into this, oh, eBay is where you list things if you want to sell them to other people. And that, you know, my inclination is that that's because there's a lot of like traditional GPK collectors collecting these things. And I think, you know, we've seen thousands of dollars sell on eBay for these. You know, I have mixed feelings about it, but at the end of the day, I don't really care. I think it's really cool to see. So anyways, that's enough about this particular case study. I think we should jump to the Q&A because my time is up.
Thank you, Evan. Yes, we have a comment and also a question. So let's have a look. Probably lost here. Wax onboarding has been the easiest I have ever encountered. Good job.
Thank you. This is a question, but I love the feedback. Thank you. It's going to get better, guys, too.
Yeah, that was a compliment. And then I have a question from Mike. Is Wax Labs only for developers?
No, Wax Labs, I think, has been intentionally made in a way that it keeps it quite open to all different types of avenues. Really, the core of Wax Labs is how do we grow this ecosystem? And if we can help fund things that we think are going to vastly, you know, improve our chances of, you know, user acquisition, it could be different educational materials, marketing, like those are certainly on the table as well. So.
Good. Great. Any more questions, guys? Do you have a question, Sukesh?
Yes, I do actually have a comment and a question. Like, personally, I was involved in the Wax community, and to speak for the governance, I have first-hand experience there. And also, like, in terms of the activity that we have seen with the GPK cards, it's just crazy. But I have a question for you, Ivan. So you mentioned a lot about these partnerships with these organizations and companies coming in. So I just want to hear from you, like, where do you see the future for this industry as a whole, like the gaming and the collectibles and the digital assets industry? Do you see like all the IP coming in to the blockchain ecosystem?
So here, let me break it down to two things, because I think gaming is a massive industry, and it can't just be looked at as a whole in the context you're looking at it or you're asking about it. Because to me, there's no chance that, like, no chance is probably the wrong thing. Like, Fortnite's not just going to uproot themselves and just integrate any blockchain, and now all of a sudden they're going to run all their items on blockchain. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Will be the likely case. What I think is going to happen, and I know is happening, is you're going to see a lot of IP come into the space in, we'll call it collectible formats, small game mixed with collectible formats. You know, any sort of turn-based thing I think is always interesting. But I don't think you're going to see like a ton of AAA guys coming in and fully building a game on blockchain quite yet. I think it's more NFT focused, and that's certainly the way I'm seeing it. Is they're definitely interested, right? They're at the table now. They're more than at the table now. Whereas that was a really tough conversation even a year ago. You know, it was always kind of more of a thought experiment for them. And I think looking at gaming, when I think of gaming, I think of like, you know, Call of Duty and whatnot. And that would, by the way, be an unbelievable game changer. That item economy is just so ridiculous for this sort of thing. But I think it's going to take some time. I think what it's going to ultimately be is, you know, I think it'll be more of a side partnership with those types of partners, and I'm seeing this as well, is, hey, we can do things with your items on our platform that then can be brought into your game without you having to integrate. And there are some ways that we can do that. And I think it's trying to take those small steps while still taking big steps with the IPs, right? Because there's a lot you can do on blockchain with collectibles, different formats of IP, and even simple game mechanics around that. But I think, you know, it would be misleading to say, like, I think every AAA game is going to be fully run on blockchain. It doesn't really make any sense to me personally quite yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great explanation. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so thank you again, Evan. Yes, the chat room's being really hot. There's lots of comments. I can some comments later on. Yeah, we unfortunately don't have time to read them all. But yeah, so thanks.
And we have a lot of Wax fan kingdom here.
Yeah, it's being really hot here. And so we're going to move on to our next guest, Bonz. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So this is Bonz Cannon for the people that join a little later. He's from Prospectors, and he's going to talk about NFTs and what else?
Maybe a little bit of blockchain gaming. Maybe just kind of talk
a
little bit, expand upon a little bit what Evan was talking about.
Great.
Thanks so much for having me. I guess I'll start off by saying I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. I basically am now joining you via my cell phone, and my computer was having an issue with the audio and it wouldn't locate my microphone. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to share my screen or show you any of the stuff that I was going to show you. So it might be just me talking today, unless you can.
Well, we can hear you very well. That's fine.
Are you able to grab my screen and share via my?
Don't think so. I'm afraid.
Okay, because I'm sorry.
Because you have to present yourself. There isn't this functionality on Google Meet.
Sorry. Well, I'm sorry, guys. That's my fault. I am open on both the Google Meet and on my cell phone, but I'm not able to share there. So I do apologize about that. I guess I'll just have to wing it. We'll just have to. We'll just have to look at me. I apologize.
If you want, you can put some. You can put a link on the chat so people can click on a link.
Sure. I mean, yeah, a lot of what I'm talking about, at least with Prospectors, you can look right on the prospectors.io website and see a lot of this information there.
I'll put a link now.
Great. Cool. Well, yeah, again, thanks for having me. It's a total honor to be speaking opposite Evan. I'm a huge fan of Evan and the Wax team in general. I'm one of the Wax fanboys that he was talking about, actually. Yeah, so yeah, it's great to be here. I love talking about blockchain gaming in general, but Prospectors in particular. I'll give maybe a quick rundown of what Prospectors is and the history. We launched as an ERC20 token on Ethereum a few years ago in 2018. It was apparent really early on that Ethereum wouldn't be an acceptable blockchain to launch on. Prospectors is a true blockchain game in that every action within the game is actually a transaction on the blockchain. So, EOSIO technology basically makes this game possible. You need to have a chain that's fast and not have to worry about a transaction fee like you would on Ethereum. So you can imagine if every action in the game, such as something as simple as grabbing a tool out of your backpack, if that was on Ethereum and you had to pay a gas fee every time, it just wouldn't be practical. So yeah, EOSIO was born, and Prospectors launched on EOS a little more than a year ago, and it was a successful launch. We were, I think, maybe one of the most used dApps on EOS at one time. Yeah, so the game is really the first of its kind massive multiplayer online real-time game that uses blockchain. It's an economic strategy game, which means exactly like it says. It's a strategy. There is no right or wrong strategy. There's lots of things you can do within the game that you could hashtag play to earn. That's kind of one of the taglines that we've been promoting from the beginning. Basically we launched on Wax maybe 6 months ago, and the Wax chain has been awesome because as Evan touched on a little bit, the Wax Cloud wallet basically enables anyone to have a Wax account so easy. And I think that's one thing that that's one huge advantage that Wax has right now, is that and blockchain gaming in general is going to have to strive towards, is being able to onboard users really easily. People are used to downloading an app on their phone and being able to just enter a password and be playing, and they don't want to have to deal with private keys and key management or having to pay money to get an account. They basically just want to 2 steps later be playing the game. So Wax is really leading the charge as far as I'm concerned, as far as that goes, with the Wax Cloud wallet. And so yeah, we saw we consider the Wax launch a huge success. We had a lot of players come in right away. I think it might have been the most used game on Wax. And yeah, so it's been a huge success. I'll kind of touch briefly on how the game kind of works, and also kind of touch on a little bit what Evan was talking about, and maybe talk about the difference between non-fungible tokens and fungible tokens. The Prospectors game uses what's called a fungible token. So how that's different from what Evan was talking about with the GPK launch, which are non-fungible tokens. Basically, the easiest way to describe it is a non-fungible token is totally unique. And so, you know, the example of that is, you know, within the Garbage Pail Kids cards, say, each one of those cards is truly unique. Even if it's a card where there's 100 made, say, you know, an Evil Eddie, there's 100 cards. Every one of those cards is actually minted individually. So there's still going to be one card that's number 1 mint, and there's another card that's a number 100 mint. And those cards are technically different. So even though they may be the same card and of the same mint numbers, the cards individually are different. And so that's what separates an NFT as being totally a unique digital item. Whereas Prospectors uses what's called fungible tokens. So, you know, you can think of a fungible item being more like, you know, a $20 bill, US dollar bill. Like, you know, if I loan someone $20, I don't expect that they need to pay me back that identical $20 bill. They can pay me back any $20 bill and it will be acceptable. So that's similar to what Prospectors does. We make assets that are fungible tokens. So all the assets within the game, everything from, you know, minerals in the ground to tools, all the assets are fungible tokens, and they can be traded within the game. So there's a marketplace within the game. The game is essentially an entire free market economy that totally works. It's actually amazing when you think about from the ground up. And when I say the ground, I mean because the game itself is, and if I could share my screen, I wanted to kind of maybe show everybody who's not familiar with it. But if you're not familiar with it, you can go on prospectors.io, check it out. You can see, plus there's plenty of tutorials online. You can kind of see what the gameplay actually looks like. But I'll just quickly kind of explain for people who may not be familiar with the game. There's basically a map, and within the map there are plots. These are kind of like pieces of property. Those pieces of property all maybe contain minerals or trees, like resources essentially, and those resources can be used to make tools or build buildings or, you know, whatever. And those are all assets that can be sold on the marketplace. So when you're playing the game, and the game is free to play, and the resources are essentially on the ground. So any player can sign up, use a Wax Cloud wallet, get into the game for free, and you know, walk around the map and look for resources on the ground. You know, you could find, say, trees on the ground, and those trees are a sellable fungible token on the market because somebody has a need for that item. Within the game, every resource has a need, and you know, someone will need that item. So there's a buy side and a sell side to the marketplace within the game. All of the resources and tools and buildings all sort of work together to facilitate really the end goal, which is gold mining, really. But in order to mine gold, you need tools, and in order to make tools, you need a tool shop, and in order to build a tool shop, you need everything down to boards and nails and, you know, materials. So it's a really involved and kind of fun game if you're into that sort of game where you want to, you know, plan out sort of an economic strategy and build a business, or if you'd rather just kind of play the game as sort of a nomad, as they call it, and just sort of walk around and take jobs from people. There's always jobs being offered from people who need work done within the game. And these jobs are paid by the in-game currency gold, which is also directly equated to the PGL token. So the whole game operates using the PGL token, which is a token that exists on EOS and the Wax chain, and can be traded on Nudex. And that's basically converted into the in-game currency within the game. And so the whole game operates around using this gold as the in-game currency. And, with that, you can then, do everything from walk around and work jobs for people to earn gold to starting, a business and theoretically being profitable by selling tools or selling materials that are used to make buildings, etc. So yeah, that's kind of the rough outline of the game. The game also has a reward system, a staking system where you can bring your gold to the bank and sort of stake those tokens within the game and earn some percentage back, which is the fees collected throughout the game, some of which are paid back to the players, so you're kind of rewarded for investing in the game. The exciting thing that we have happening now is we're about to launch an entirely new land, really, and this will be on the EOS blockchain, and it's called the Boomtown Challenge. It's new in that it's a different type of gameplay where the players basically are on a time limit. So from the time the game launches, there'll be only a few months' time to basically mine as many materials and gold as possible and get those materials back to the main land of the Wild West before the summer sun comes and makes mining not a reality anymore. So that's kind of the new thing that we're launching. That's coming up this summer. So we just actually had an assets auction where we sold assets for the Boomtown Challenge. And those assets are actually simple asset standard, which is exactly what the GPK cards use as well. So that's, an EOSIO standard of digital assets that can be used, either on EOS or Wax, or really probably any EOSIO chain could adopt that standard of asset. And so I'm trying to remember the things that I was going to try to show here about the game. So that's kind of specifically about prospectors in general. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about blockchain gaming in general. I think this is sort of a proof of concept and a first step to really show like what's possible with blockchain gaming. I think sort of what Evan was touching on a little bit and where this is all going. We're going to see huge AAA games using and utilizing NFTs, right around the corner. What that enables, and with true ownership, and a little bit like what Evan was talking about with the secondary market sales, and really it's about aligning of interests with the game developers being able to profit on the secondary sales of items within the game, where that's kind of like one of the issues that traditional game developers maybe have had is there then starts secondary markets where people are going outside the game to sell their game assets. And similar to Evan mentioned, people are trading GPK on cards on eBay, which is kind of crazy, but it's cool too, because people are then seeing what's happening on Wax. But it is very interesting to see people going outside the Wax ecosystem to trade a digital item that's on Wax. But of course, people will go wherever the liquidity is, and of course in the future these marketplaces for these digital items will only grow, and of course people will want to go where the liquidity is. And basically the business model that's now emerging from this, where game developers or IP holders will see that they can profit from these secondary markets in some cases, as Evan was saying, like GPK has. It's actually been incredible to watch. So I'm sure we'll see more games and more IP holders wanting to take advantage of that. Yeah, like you know, I guess I was going to kind of bring up, I saw in the chat somebody bring up Blankos. Yeah, it's a great example. It's like, you know, it's a AAA game. It looks like it's going to be phenomenal. And every character within the game is actually going to be an NFT. So you will truly own that character. You'll play the game with that character, and you know, as you build up that character, probably with skins, or, you know, as they call it, or say it's maybe items, a jetpack or something like this. Every one of those items will be actually a separate NFT that you could then bundle together and sell this character in the marketplace, or sell the individual items. It's going to really open up, you know, a whole new world. And I really foresee other games jumping on board with this once they see how successful it can really be, you know. And, you know, of course, that will all come back to the onboarding. You know, none of this will be possible if it's complicated. Essentially, the user doesn't need to know that they're using a blockchain. They don't want to be bothered by, you know, cumbersome wallets, etc. And so, you know, as I mentioned before, the Wax Cloud wallet is a great first step in being able to onboard regular users, I'll call them, people who aren't familiar with blockchain, who just want to sign up and be able to play a game. Games that are coming, you know, another one I just recently tried out was really an eye-opening experience was Upland, which is right on the iTunes store. And basically you download an app, and it's just like any other app you would download, where you enter a name and a password, and 2 minutes later, you're basically playing a game that, you know, I was able to buy a piece of property and within minutes owned an asset that was on the EOS blockchain without ever having to sign up for an EOS account, or, you know, worry about a wallet or anything like that. And so, you know, that really gives me so much hope to see how far this has come in such a short amount of time, to where users are able to actually use a blockchain who don't need to know anything about blockchain. They don't, you know, maybe need to care even about private keys, but they are the true owners of that asset, and that asset can live on the blockchain. So it's really amazing to see, you know, where this is going and how far it's come. And obviously, you know, Wax is going to play a huge part in that in the future. So, and I'm not sure where I'm at on time on this. I've kind of just been sort of
You have like 1 minute.
Oh, great. Well, then I kind of just rambled to the perfect amount of time. So yeah, I
can be 2 minutes. I like to be 2 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah. So Wax, man, it's been so exciting to see what's happened with the Garbage Pail Kid launch, and I'm sure some of the Wax fans may have also saw how there's an entirely new kind of card game coming out called Blockchain Heroes. I think it's the guys from the Bad Crypto podcast are putting those cards out, and they're like basically inspired by real blockchain heroes. You know, everybody from founders to influencers and whatever. And it's been really cool to watch. They've kind of got the community involved with getting excited about seeing the new artwork, and those will launch on the Wax blockchain as well. I think they have a launch date for August, and I can imagine there's, you know, I know that Topps owns a ton of IP, and I'm sure the Wax team is busy lining up, you know, with the success of the GPK launch. I'm sure they're, you know, chopping at the bit to be getting more IP out there. So all the things that are happening on Wax, I mean, it's like there's with all the things happening, it's like daily there's new news coming out of something else to be excited about. So it's like it's got to be the most exciting ecosystem in all of crypto right now to see what's happening on Wax and EOS.io in general. But yeah, if you haven't checked out any of those games, check out what's happening on Wax. Check out prospectors.io. Go watch that new Blankos trailer if anybody hasn't seen it. It's really exciting. And yeah.
Great, Bonz. Yes, I will share all the links with everyone else. And it brings to the question I was about to ask you, and we were talking about what Jeremy Gordon is asking. Can you speak about interoperability of NFTs, Wax to Ethereum, Wax to EOS, etc.?
Yeah, that's actually that's a really good question, and I know for sure that is actually in the works. And I think I just saw an announcement just yesterday. I know that they're right on the cusp of this technology happening, and I can speak from the perspective of prospectors. We are, we're calling it the railway system, but essentially we're going to be able to move digital assets back and forth between Prospector's Wax chain and the Prospector's EOS chain. And already there's a system where we're able to migrate the tokens back and forth from within the Prospector's game. The PGL token can be migrated to the Wax chain and back and forth. So we're at the very beginning of that technology really taking off. And I know that with the fungible tokens and soon the NFTs, it will be very possible and be happening maybe even this month. And I think I just saw an announcement yesterday from the team, the guys that make there's another card game on Wax called Dark Country. And it's sort of a card trading game that uses NFTs. And they had just made an announcement yesterday that they're enabling IBC essentially between Wax and EOS, but also including Ethereum. So really soon, I know that we're basically going to be able to be trading, and I think even Upland, I just was reading that they're working on a similar thing as well. So I know that it's going to be possible to be taking, say, Ethereum standard ERC 721s or NFTs from Ethereum and be moving them to a game like Upland or a game like all these chains. Soon these NFT standards will all be interoperable. So yeah, that's a really good question, and I'm really excited about that. And I know that that's going to just open up so many possibilities, because yeah, Ethereum does have a thriving NFT market, but of course Ethereum has limitations. So I'm sure they can't wait to be trading their NFTs on Wax as well.
Great. Thank you, Bonz. And
Thank you so
do you want
much.
to say? Oh, thank you. Do you want to say anything, Sukesh?
I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you to Bonz and Ivan as well for joining in today and sharing your knowledge and your work that you have been doing within the blockchain space. And now finally, we are at the end of the event, but now we have a lucky draw for the free GPK card giveaways today. So I tried to put together the list of people that are currently there in the call. So just to hold on for a bit, and I'm going to share my screen.
I'm just going to share my screen for a minute so for people to know what we're going to...
yes, yeah, do that.
Yeah, what we're going to give away.
Yes.
And...
I think we will select three winners.
3 winners, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, here it is. So these are the cards.
Yes. So we have the Prism Rarity cards. So 4 of them. I think a couple of them have the highest serial numbers or the lowest serial numbers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna share my screen.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. Can you see my screen now?
It's coming. Yeah, now we can.
Okay, great. I have 19 entries here. I just removed our names and also Ivan's name from the list, so it's fair. I'm gonna do the spin now.
That's so cool.
Okay, so we have Henry.
Yeah! You're the winner. Congratulations, Henrik.
In Stockholm, Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Stockholm, Henrik.
Yeah, I think Anna, you have to collect the names and the emails, maybe.
Yeah, I will do it.
Yeah, so we will send you the instructions on how you can collect later on. So let's see who's going to be the second winner. Oh, okay, I have to remove the names. Okay, so it's going to be the Blue Sky.
Yay! Congratulations!
Yay,
we need a sound effect.
Yay.
I love that. I love that visual image with the little confetti coming and everything. All it needs is a sound effect.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually have sound effect on my side, but I don't know. I can't share it, I guess.
Yeah.
I love that program that you're using with the select a winner. I think we need to I need to find out about that.
Yeah. I think it's actually removing the names who won, so that's good.
Oh wow, that's really cool. I would also like to give away a prospector's asset if we can do one more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great because we just did the assets auction for the new prospectors land that's launching the Boomtown Challenge, and I would like to give away a researcher set, which is the asset needed to walk around and find gold when the game launches. So I'll give one of those away.
Okay, let's do then 2 rounds and then we're done.
Perfect.
Okay.
You won.
Oh no, I won. Oh
no.
Okay,
Oh, let's do another one. Let's do another one because
this is rigged.
yeah, I have plenty of GPK and I would like to give some away too.
Okay, so we're gonna do another round then.
Yeah, let's give it to someone who doesn't have any yet, or someone else in general.
Yeah. RR. Do we have an RR?
RR.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Someone called Richard.
Yeah, please stick around, guys, and share your emails later on. So.
What we could do, I can, ask them the emails if I don't have it already.
So the last and final round, fingers crossed.
Yay!
Yeah, we have King John's Celebrities.
Oh, there you go. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but thanks for joining in, and all the people who want, please stick around so you can share your emails with us, and then we will send you the instructions on how you can claim the card. Thank you very much for joining in, and have a good day and have a nice evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bonz and Evan.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
I'm sure we learned a lot about NFTs and everything else and blockchain.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I think we can stop the recording, and yeah, I think we have a couple of emails already coming in.